We're recording.
Hey everyone, welcome back to, oh my gosh, I almost forgot the name of our podcast, QualityMatters.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Welcome back to QualityMatters. I'm your hostess, Darcy Chambers.
I'm Kyle Chambers.
What is your title? I always introduce myself as the hostess. I don't even call you my co-host. You're just here.
I'm just Kyle. I'm just here. You know, whatever.
So I really wish you guys could see the behind the scenes of Kyle getting ready. Much like our videos, it's really humorous. He's very particular about things.
Just a wee bit.
Which is funny. So I have to sit here and sit there and move this and do that before.
Oh yeah, took 10 minutes. You ready? Maybe 15? I don't know. Wow. Okay.
So, this week I stumbled across an article. Oh man, I can't even remember where I found it from. Business Insider. And I've got my monitors pulled up here for my cheat sheets. About a CEO that still believes in the human element.
Mm-hmm.
And as silly as it sounds, I feel like it's something that most managers have lost and forgotten about.
I think so, especially because everything's electronic. I mean, I'm a computer guy by trade. That's, but everything's electronic. Everything's digital. We text, we email, we video chat. Heck, you're listening to me talk on a podcast. So much of our communication is just horribly impersonal.
I agree. And so many managers and CEOs and, I'm thinking even like fast food restaurants and retail, what are you looking at?
Maybe I'll edit that out, maybe not. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so I'm thinking fast food restaurants and retail on up to business and corporate type situations. It's so much about the bottom dollar and making a profit. And yes, you have to do X, Y, Z to get there, but you also have to have the people to do X, Y, Z to get there.
And I don't even want to say that don't get me wrong, the overemphasis we have on the dollar can oftentimes be a problem, but it's so much easier to overemphasize the dollar today than I think it was even 10 years ago, because we have so many stinking reports and metrics and instantaneous data. I mean, you used to have the guy like me, it used to be part of my job, to go do all the crazy pivot tables and download the data from the 10 different sources, and I'd take 2 or 3 days to analyze the data. Heck, you can pay $50 for a service that'll do that for you on a monthly basis, and you don't need me anymore even.
So we've got to consider the people that are helping you to make that bottom dollar.
Oh yeah.
And so I came across this article. It was about a CEO, and his name is so fun to say. It's Sheldon Yellen. Yes, Sheldon Yellen is his name. I keep looking to see if I've got it right because it's so fun. And he's the CEO of BELFOR Holdings, which is a disaster relief property restoration company.
Okay.
So he writes each one of his employees a birthday card.
Oh, that's cool.
Every year.
That's cool.
How many employees do you think he has?
I don't know if he does it every year. I mean, 100 would be difficult to keep up with.
9,200.
Woo!
And he handwrites them.
Handwrites
A birthday card for all of them. So I read through this article because I thought that was I mean, I have said a number of times to Kyle, like, hey, I want to go get some cards and just send 5 or 7 out every month just to friends. Not their birthdays, because I'm not organized enough. I can barely remember my kids' birthdays. And that's a terrible excuse, especially if you're or if you're anybody. It's a terrible excuse. And I won't even take the time to go buy the cards and handwrite the cards. But this CEO writes 9,200 birthday cards a year.
That's amazing.
For his employees. Beyond that, he sends out birthday or anniversary cards. If the employee's kids are sick and he knows about it, he'll send them a card.
Oh, wow.
So on top of 9,200, I mean, think of how many kids are getting sick again. We have 3, and I feel like they're sick all the time.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not that bad. But, that's a lot of cards he's writing. I think I figured out earlier that it was an average, just for the birthday cards, it was an average of 25 cards per day he's having to write.
That's a lot.
It is, and it says if you see him on an airplane, he's going to have a suitcase full of stationery, and that's what he's going to be doing is writing out the birthday cards. and he takes it with him on every trip so he can work on it. And it got started because in 1985, that's how long he's been doing this.
Wow.
What is that? 35 years?
Yeah.
35 years he's been doing this. Because his brother-in-law hired him. And he didn't want the people to think he was getting special treatment. So he thought, well, what can I do to make them feel special?
Yeah.
So he started writing the cards just thinking, well, people will come by and stop by and say thanks for the card. And once they did that, then he was able to talk to them. And
so they could kind of get to know him. Yeah.
And know that it wasn't just because of special treatment. It's because he's got something to offer.
Yeah.
And so he's been doing this for... What did we just say?
35 years? Yeah. That's a long time.
And then he jokes, in the article it says he jokes that when they make acquisitions, he says, how many more people are we acquiring? Because he's trying to figure out how many more cards he has to write.
That's funny. That's funny.
So I think that's a good thing. He says you can't, forget about the human element.
No, it's people that run your business. I mean, well, I guess we have all this technology that does great things for us. I mean, it's truly nothing without a team of folks there to run it. One of the biggest problems that companies have is keeping folks trained, right? Just keeping someone trained to do the job. And in every organization, the details are different. So if you've got a high turnover rate, I mean, my gosh, just think about how many hundreds and thousands of man hours you're spending retraining folks.
Whereas if you give back the human element and try to connect with your employees and know what's going on in their lives.
Yep.
He also said that if he learns about random acts of kindness happening out in the field, he'll again reach out in writing and send a thank you card to that employee for going above and beyond. And he says that a lot of his managers now have taken to giving cards and positive reinforcement to their employees. So it's leading by example. We've talked about that before on this podcast, top-down leadership. So just this morning, we took a little video and posted on LinkedIn and Facebook. We haven't given people a whole lot of time, but
you got some response pretty quickly.
Yeah, we started looking at our schedules and said, we got to record this podcast or we're going to run out of time. So luckily I went ahead, I don't know what's up with you guys on LinkedIn. Y'all don't like to respond a whole lot. You'll react to my posts, but I don't get comments. So I need, y'all didn't help me out on LinkedIn, but my Facebook friends did.
Right.
One of my Facebook friends said that when she was 19 years old, she had a boss that really believed in her and gave her the assistant manager's position.
Okay.
And that led to a 15 or so year management career because somebody believed in her at 19. So sometimes you don't believe in yourself, but having somebody else believe in you is a good thing.
It is.
And then another friend just said a simple thank you for your hard work. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Not anything special, and that's what Sheldon Yellen says in his article. It doesn't even have to cost anything. You can get a folded piece of printer paper and say, "Hey, I really appreciate what you do."
No, it really doesn't. I mean, what's the old phrase? You talk about the random acts of kindness. Like, what's the old phrase? Inspect what you expect. Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's the same thing with this. You can kind of look at it in that same frame of mind. Is if people know that they're being noticed or observed for certain things, they're more likely to either do it or not do it, depending on which the way the reward is. And I mean, I don't know how many shops I've been into where, man, things would just go a lot better if some of the leadership would just go through and praise guys for the simplest things, but just, hey, your area is clean. That's something that simple can really go a long ways. And some people, all they need is that one little affirmation, and man, they're stuck with it.
Yeah, and to connect this back to teaching, because that's my experience, I always used to say, praise in public, punish in private.
Yeah.
And just as much as you can, build those kids or employees up, and then when they do something wrong, take them aside privately and handle it.
I was listening to a podcast actually just this morning, and they're talking about how in this military field manual from the 1940s, how they're talking about you really need to get at the heart of your men. They're talking about leadership. So he made the point, like, this is during the Depression, this is everyone's ramping up for World War II, And we talk about how soft things are today, but here you have this, military field guide talking about you need to get to the hearts of your men. You need to make sure that their emotional needs are cared for, that their comfort is cared for.
Well, again, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I don't
Yeah.
know how many people are familiar. We had to learn it and learn it and learn it for education.
Well, give a
But
quick.
it's, if a kid's basic needs aren't met, they're not going to learn at school.
No.
If a kid is hungry or doesn't have a place to sleep or doesn't know where dad is or, any kind of those basic needs
Mm-hmm.
aren't met, he's not coming to school to learn.
No.
Or she.
Yeah.
They're coming to school to get a meal at
Mhm.
lunch.
Yeah.
And that's what they're coming for, maybe a hug from their teacher.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with your employees. That's why you've got to have, you've got to be in touch with them and know what's going on, have a pulse or a beat on your company and know what's going on, because if somebody's got something going on,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be as efficient for you.
No.
And you're not going to be able to fix everybody, but man, it sure would mean a lot if my boss came and said, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I know you're going through this right now.
Right.
Why don't you take a little time off?
Yeah.
And we're not going to dock your pay.
Yeah.
Just go home
Well,
and rest for a little bit.
I mean, take it even more simple example. I mean, that is still an awesome idea, but it's like, if your lunch just said, hey, let's, your lunch, your boss just said, hey, let's go to lunch, and the purpose wasn't to talk about your performance at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the purpose was just talk, just like people. No, no agenda, just chat. I think I commented on your post. I commented on it, but I don't know if that counts. Maybe not the most ideal example, but really meant something to me. Is to get through college, I worked for Best Buy, and I worked a suicide shift the day after Thanksgiving. Which, if anyone's worked retail, what the day after Thanksgiving's like. And so I was there from 4 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night. And so my boss, as soon as the shift was over, he just took me to get a drink. I mean, it's something simple,
Yeah.
but there was no motive. It's just let's just go celebrate that. It's just we're done. Let's move on.
Yeah, so I want to make it clear, and I said this in the video, we're talking about things outside of your sales goals, because, or whatever
Production
the goals
or whatever
are,
it is, yeah.
Those are kind of your expectations, and you've already got a reward set. We're talking about things that an employee has no idea is coming, and it's just something special to make them feel special.
Treat people like people, not units of production.
Yeah.
People are people.
Yeah.
And if they feel they feel welcome, they're gonna stay there a lot longer. I mean, it's just that simple. We have a big problem in the marketplace today with people job hopping, right? They say that at any moment in time, 1/3 of the people in your team is currently looking for another job.
Yeah, and you
That's
see all
scary.
these memes on LinkedIn and Facebook about how people don't quit jobs, they quit bad bosses.
Yeah.
Or, and it doesn't even have to be a bad boss. It just has to be like, I want to be recognized as a person, not as a tool.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
No, absolutely. I think that would go a long ways. And then, because we talk about quality, so just imagine the impact this is going to have on your environment. I mean,
absolutely.
When you've got good people staying there, willing to put in the extra effort when it is needed, and happy to do it, I mean, you're going to get so much better results out of these folks.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to go back to education because it's what I know, and I don't know what the teacher burnout rate is now. I want to say it used to be maybe 5 to 7 years, and it's the good teachers keep getting stacked with more work or the harder kids, and that could be behavior, academic, emotionally, whatever it is, but your classrooms get stacked. And I haven't taught for 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
But I felt like that, and I was recently talking to a teacher and she was expressing the same thing, that you just feel like when you do the good job, you get the harder work, and the ones that don't do the good job, so why keep working?
Yeah.
Why keep working when you don't get recognitions, but instead you say, hey, you're doing a good job, here's some more hard work for you.
Right. Well, I think in some ways it's a little more obvious in teaching, because
And there's not a lot of ways, I mean, I don't want to turn this into an
No.
education pod, but it's harder in education because there's not a lot of ways the boss can individually reward you because they're on a budget.
Right. But I mean, what you said a couple minutes ago though about you did a great job, so here's some more hard work.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's honestly kind of part of why I'm doing this business. It's because like, well, if I'm just gonna run everything, I might as well run everything. I mean, it really it kind of works out that way sometimes, but it is true that the best performing folks in your team oftentimes get the hardest and most difficult assignments, which in and of itself is not a bad thing. But how you manage those expectations and how you keep up with those folks can make a huge difference. I was talking to a friend yesterday, actually, and we're talking about the fact that, some people really are that driven, motivated person that just wants to do the most and do the best, and, they're just going to push forward. And others are really just happy to sit there and do their job.
Mm-hmm.
I recently connected with someone on LinkedIn that I knew from Best Buy, and she'd already been at Best Buy for like 10 years when I worked there. And so, here she is at 20 years into her career, still doing the same job.
But happy to do it.
She's happy to do it.
And you said that she even got promoted and said,
yeah.
No, I don't want that. I want to go back to this.
Yeah, she got promoted and asked to move back down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and I don't, going back to education, like you get the hard kids, and you said it's how you work with them through those difficult assignments. I was often criticized in how I was dealing with those hard kids and getting criticized. We'll just leave it at that. My job was made more difficult, and I just wish somebody could have come and said, "Hey, I know you've got a really hard class, and I appreciate how hard you're working with them.
Imagine
what else can I offer you? How else can I support you in dealing with them?"
Just imagine having that once or twice in a year. I mean, that in itself goes a long ways. And this guy's doing it for 10,000 plus times a year.
Yeah, it's amazing. So before we close out, I like the quote he has at the end of the article. He says, "When leaders forget about the human element, they're holding back their companies and limiting the success of others.
Amen.
Focusing only on profit and forgetting that a company's most important asset is its people will ultimately stifle a company's growth."
Amen.
So you got to remember the people. You got to have a beat on them and know what's going on. And I think I started to say this earlier. There's a fine line between knowing what's going on in their life and getting too personal.
It is.
And, but just recognize that they're people and they have stuff going on in their life too.
No, definitely. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to write, 9,000 birthday cards a year, but I actually love the idea. But you do need to do something, at least with your immediate team and with folks that stand out in the rest of the organization. You got to do something.
Yeah.
So I like it. I love it.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.